And welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win, the week of Who Would Win, and this one comes to us from Ben Gates, who asks the question, who won a fight? I believe it's Yang Xiaolong from RWBY, or Mordred? Now, there was only one Mordred I could find, didn't specify who, if I remember correctly, but I believe it's the Fate version of Mordred, if that's what you're referring to, who was our knight of the round table in Arthurian lore. So, yeah, let's start with Yang real quick here. Yang, I believe it's Zhao, is the way you pronounce that middle name, Xiao, Zhao. Xiaoyong is one of the big main protagonists of the RWBY series, and she's one of the core founding members of Team RWBY. She's the Y. She's very headstrong, very just quick into, I mean, she's not quick to anger per se, it's more that she's just quick to jump in without thinking. As far as though she has improved on that as time has gone on. But she's still probably the most brash of the group. She doesn't. It's not like she acts without thinking. She's just, again, she's very quick into action. She's good at thinking on the fly. She does have trouble with fighters who are a bit more agile there. She's much more aggressive in combat than her teammates, preferring barehanded and fist styles with her weapons. The Ember. What is they called? Celica? Is that it? Or Cecilia? These things. With these. Now, I say these. They're, technically speaking, one of those is the weapon. The other is an artificial arm she got to use to continue to fight because she lost her arm at one point. She's the physically strongest of the group. She's able to punch fully grown men several feet away in the midair and through glass pillar without enhancement of her weapon. She able to keep the mouth of a Nevermore open with one arm long enough to deliver multiple shots down his throat. She has had her aura unlocked, coating her body with a shield power with her soul, which helps protect her, especially when her aggressiveness gets her into bad situations. She is prone for things like that. Her fighting skills improved immensely after her mental recovery. She went through a bit of a depression after a bit. Notably, she has incorporated more kicks and dodging. Now, her new robotic arm gives her a higher degree of strength, able to fully send fully grown men flying from intensive blows. Her fight against Elm and Vine with Blake further showcased her more pragmatic approach to battle. She coordinated her attacks with Blake, so she's definitely gotten more skilled over as time's gone on. Her weapons is the Ember Celica, I think it is radically different compared to those used by her teammates, being a pair of gauntlets, which retract into bracelets. Yang's fighting style revolves around combining punches with explosive shots. Essentially, punch, boom, punch, boom. And it has a powerful recoil, which she can use to augment the force of her punch and accelerate her movements. And obviously, she uses dust with different elemental combinations. And then there is her semblance. Now, everyone pretty much has a semblance in the RWBY world. Her semblance, which is known, I believe, as just burn, is when her hair glows like this. As RWBY states during the events of the painting here, lets her absorb kinetic energy from every blow she takes and use it to make herself more powerful. This is a form of kinetic energy absorption, which she subsequently redirects said energy against her opponent with double the amount of force. As a side effect of her semblance, her eyes turn red, her hair sometimes becomes glowing and even comes into flames. That's when she kind of goes Super Saiyan. She does not, Yang's semblance does not make her angry, but her anger sometimes led her to impulsively activate it. Prior to the fall of Beacon, she often used her semblance to finish fights after absorbing enough damage from the blows to overpower the opponent. However, after the fall of Beacon, she began to use it far less often and more as a final attack due to her improved training of fighting. It should be noted that she is not immune to pain at all. Although she gets stronger for taking damage, her frustration and anger can be exploited by her opponents. This weakness is expressed in her brief fight confronted with Adam, Ringer causing her to recklessly charge and lose her right arm in the process. However, this drawback is more or less under control as long as she's doesn't find the wrong opponent. While taking hits from an opponent vastly increases her power and her semblance, she's still taking damage in the process. Despite her high reserves or aura, too many attacks can basically break her defenses. Fighters well versed in dodging can frustrate her. It's not a weakness. Her emotions can cause her to unintentionally activate her semblance if not in battle. And somewhat jokingly defines her semblance as basically a temper tantrum. Her prosthetic arm is extremely powerful also has built-in gauntlet into it, essentially. In essence, she kind of had her emblem, she didn't actually have it put in there, but she had something akin to her weapon built into her gauntlet. So Yang is a pretty powerful individual. I hesitate to say how powerful she is. I'm not a big RWBY fan, admittedly. Nor am I a Fate person, so take that for what it is. Being a knight, so what I do remember the Fate series, though, is that basically it's like a war between individuals, and they're able to call upon beings from legend, from history, to fight on their behalf and be fight with them. And Mordred was a former knight of the Round Table. Being a knight of the Round Table, she's one of the greatest knights to have ever lived, and a hero sang in legends. As such, when summoned as a servant, she boasts undisputable fame and strength. Being a first-class servant, Mordred's power worthy of the Saber class. She is the one said to be the greatest among the 7 servants. Mordred's boasts a strength rank class B+, endurance A, agility B, mana B, etc. Aside from luck, all her parameters rank above C, truly fitting her class. In particular, her strength is extraordinary, as a plus in a rare modifier that allows her particular value for multiple instances. Basically, in combat, she focuses on obeying her instincts and optimizing her fighting habits with the greatest efficiency. During battle, she has shown truly superior competence, and due to her doctrine to make things right, she pursue deliberately even unfair tactics, or peruse, which means she's willing to fight in any means she deems fit. She does not move with the elegance of a knight or display the beauty of a swordsmanship, but instead fights with abandon like a berserker. She uses her two-handed sword with a single hand, rather than simply doing so to punch an opponent. And rather than simply doing so to punch an opponent with the extra hand, she will even go so far as to throw her sword should it grant her further victory at her opponent. Normally, the very heart and soul of this knight, she uses swordsmanship as only another means to victory, and she's willing to punch, kick, bite, or to do whatever it takes to win. Her strikes are superhuman attacks that transcend the domain of humans, as seen when she masterfully parried the thrust of Karna. In terms of sheer power as a heroic spirit, she is overwhelmingly superior to Astolf. Even without using her full strength, she's capable of moving as solid metal mass sped. What the hell is this sentence? Even without using her full strength, Mordred is capable of moving as solid metal mass sped around like a cannonball, disintegrating Acheron's golems in the process. Okay, I think that means she's able to move. She has so much mass and power that even without using her full power, she disintegrated some golems this character made. I think that's what they're trying to say. Although his golems are beyond comparison, possessing the power to fight evenly against low-ranked servants, they barely lasted one attack, 3 at the most, before being cut down by Mordred. However, the purpose of those golems was strictly detection and giving reports. Had they been made for combat, they could have overwhelmed her with sheer numbers. Mordred might not get injured against 10 or 20 of them, but if she had been attacked by waves of golems numbering beyond 100, the outcome would have been uncertain. However, in truth, it was expecting too much for her not to be taken down by even the battle-type golems. So, aside from her overall abilities, her defensive capabilities are also considerably high thanks to her armor. With it, she survived Frankenstein's fully powered attack, which had also been further strengthened by a command spell. As such, she didn't even notice when Tristan accidentally shot her in the back with one of his arrows, only feeling a small cut in the back for a time. Although Chiron's arrows can definitely kill everything in its path, thanks to her heavy armor, the arrow that had been aimed at her chest was deflected and pierced into her shoulder instead. Since Chiron was unable to see any weak point in her armor, and feared that she might escape after he used his double phantasm, he withheld using it. So she's actually got a lot of severe amount of physical strength, a lot of durability. Her skills include magic resistance, which wouldn't really play a factor here. There's no magic really in RWBY, at least nothing that would be considered magic here. Writing doesn't really matter. Personal skills. Her battle instinct is during battle she's able to always feel the optimal course of action. Basically, she's kind of a go with the flow individual. Let's see here. Mana Burst. Mordred's weapons are infused with mystical energy. And just like her father, with the instantaneous release of her energy, she can elevate her abilities as if she were, as if it were jet propulsion. It allows her to rush forward, with momentum like a bullet, and swing her oversized sword with ease. She does have a ability called Crimson Lightning. Where is it? In essence, she summons a giant F-off amount of red lightning, Crimson Lightning, if you will, to torch an opponent, more or less. Crimson Lightning. I just saw her using it. It was literally a GIF right here of her using it. But all right, whatever. Where is it? Battle continuation. She basically this skill represents her will not to give up, and it was thanks to this strong curse that bound her body, and she was able to give Artura a mortal wound even after death, having been pierced with the holy lance. And she doesn't have necessarily a great amount of charisma, but she does have a C level in charisma. Her sword, Clarent, was originally a B rank sword, but bestowed during the succession of kingship. To amplify the king's authority, the king's royal aura. It raises the owner's physical stats by 1 rank and raises the skill charisma. However, was never acknowledged as king though, Mordred. So the sword itself is lowered by 1 rank, so forth and so on. However, she can still use the amplification ability to launch Clarent Blood Artura by using her Mana Burst. Let's see here, what does that do? Blood Artura. Activation. It's not properly. It's a full power release of Clarendon. I keep saying Clarendon. Clarence. Okay, it's basically just a big energy attack from what it looks like. That, or it's like a full manifestation. Yeah, it looks like a big final slash with an energy enhancement. Okay, so that is pretty much it for Mordred. There's like a little bit left in terms of some of the stuff she's capable of doing, but that is more or less it. So if these two meet in a fight, who exactly would win? I think right at the gate, taking personality equation, Mordred they're both battle lovers, clearly. One acting more like a berserker, one a bit more level-headed, but one's got a lot more experience under her belt and has literally an ability that lets her feel the flow of battle. So I think that gives an edge to Mordred. I will say, though, it does seem like Yang has a little bit more versatility because she is able to block with her gauntlets. She has a robotic arm. She is actually a hand-to-hand fighter more often than not. Her gauntlets fire off different rounds of, projectiles. And she also has the ability to use her semblance, which will absorb kinetic energy and throw it back at the opponent. So arguably, from a versatility standpoint, Yang does technically have the edge. But versatility doesn't mean really anything if you can't beat the sheer power of someone. For example, I'll use Beerus as an example. Beerus from Dragon Ball Super doesn't actually have a huge amount of versatility, but his sheer power is enough that someone who knows 1,000 techniques in Dragon Ball, it doesn't matter if it can't even match his power. So the question is this a scenario of power over versatility? I don't think so, but I do think one of them has an edge power-wise over the other. And shocker, I think it's from the way I just said that sentence, I do think it's Mordred. The reason I say that is from what I'm reading here is that and the little bit of gifts I'm seeing here is that, these are not, Mordred technically isn't human. She is a spirit. She is a servant. She is a phantasm. She's something beyond human at this point. So her ability to channel energy and do damage seems to actually go much farther beyond whatever Yang has done. But most of the RWBY characters are not very strong when you put them in a versus against even, let's say, like a mountain level feat. Like, they just do not have that level of power. They don't demonstrate it. And this is from a little bit of RWBY I've watched, too, and what I know of the series. But Yang can make up for that with, tenacity, versatility, and maybe throwing all that energy back with her semblance. So if this fight is taking place, however the fight is taking place, Yang, being headstrong, maybe doesn't know who this person is. This person doesn't know where they are. And so one thing comes to another, and they kind of clash. So there you go. That's how the fight breaks down. And Yang obviously would be the aggressor, coming in, doing the best she can, covering kicks, firing at Mordred. Mordred is using her sword. She's already got battle armor that is extremely durable. So her armor is going to be able to take most of those hits, no problem. The only exposed spot she really has is her face. Now, maybe hypothetically, if she gets hit in the arm, she could like have her arm broken, theoretically. But no, her really only exposed spot on her body is her face, which is where Yang is aiming. But because that's the case, and because she can feel the flow of battle, Mordred's able to keep that at bay. Meanwhile, Mordred has her armor, has her ability to use the Crimson Lightning. I believe that was what the name of the technique was, as well as Crimson Lightning, as well as using the what was the other ability again? The Clarent Blood Arthur ability. And by the way, I probably haven't gone through all of her abilities. I'll also say that I think she has superior strength to Yang as well, based on what we kind of see in Fate and some of the stuff that goes on in that show, and manga. So, and she honestly kind of has a better weapon than Yang in this scenario. What I mean by that is this. Technically speaking, Yang's wangs. Giggity. But Yang's weapons are better, but they're not, because she can hit and hit strong. She can also fire, but the amount of damage they're going to do is going to be very minimal in a fight like this because of how armored she is. Add on to the fact that a sword, you don't need to reload that. So a minute that Yang is out of dust to use in those gauntlets in her arm, Mordred can just come in and start wreaking havoc. Now, because she's got a cybernetic arm, she can maybe block that to a degree, but based on what we're seeing described here by Mordred, I don't know how long that's going to keep up until that arm maybe gets cut off. Eventually, Yang is going to be put in the position where she knows she's just not dealing anything or barely anything to Mordred, so she activates Burn, her semblance. They go to town again on each other. This time, every shot is getting hit in on her. She's feeling it. It's hurting. She throws it back. And now, because she's having that energy thrown back at her, Mordred's taking her more seriously. Activating Crimson Lightning, she would throw down lightning bolts at Yang, trying to absorb as much kinetic energy as possible. Probably even having her aura break to get in the final hit. She would basically get ready for the final attack with her aura down. She's fully charged up with all that attack. Just kind of going into the full ability of it, or full ability of it. Going into the full moment of the fight, she uses Clarent Blood Arthur to just go all out. They clash, and unfortunately for Yang, I don't see her walking away from that. If she doesn't die, she's out cold at least. I do see Mordred probably walking away from that fight a little bit definitely bloodied up and not feeling the greatest, but overall, I do think the winner would be Mordred. The reason for this is that as tough as Yang is still human. She still has limitations of a human. Mordred isn't human anymore, and she's well beyond human in terms of her durability and strength at this point. So she's able to take more and dish out more than RWBY is capable of handling or dealing with. So, for my money, even though I'm not very well versed in either of these series, I would probably go with Mordred. Let me know, though, what you think in the comments below. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? I don't know. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong, but you'll find something better. I think that's Leonard Skinner, isn't it? Anyway, so yeah. Let me know in the comments below what you think. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you folks for the next one. Have a good one.